Did you know that 1 in 5 people feel shame about their body image? 1/3 of us are quite depressed and very dissatisfied about how we look, and 19% of us actually are disgusted with our body image. And it's something that gives me great joy in my job, to be able to help people, both men and women, with issues around body confidence. My name is Liz. I'm a self-care body image therapist here at St Andrew's Healthcare. If I was in a pub and someone said to me, describe body image, I would say it's our own opinion of ourselves. It's how we perceive ourselves, it's how we look at ourselves, it's how we're satisfied with how we look. All of us are affected by body image. I think it's something that is driven by external factors, being the environment, social media, etc., as well as internal factors, our core beliefs, what we think about ourselves, what our early influences were when we were growing up, how that's impacted on us. It's definitely not gender specific. In other words, it affects boys and girls and men and women in different ways. So it's very much an issue that is embedded within our society. It can impact relationships, it can impact personal, professional development, it can impact success factors in one's professional life as well. I certainly don't think that body image issues should be underestimated on any level. The symptoms can sometimes not be very obvious, but some of the risk factors, if you like, and the red flags or the triggers that you might notice would be things like self-worth, self-esteem, sometimes depression, might not want to communicate so much with their friends. They may have communicative relationship difficulties with their family. They might just kind of socially exclude themselves in some way. There might be a hyper focus on a certain part of one's body that they really don't like, which causes very dysfunctional thoughts around their appearance. They will want to hide rather than bring themselves forward in any particular social situations, for example. It comes down to the need for social inclusion. And sadly, the message I think that a lot of young people are getting, particularly today, is that they can't be different. Social media promote idealized images of how we should look, how we should dress, for example. And I think if you are vulnerable, if you haven't got that real kind of sense of self, then I think what happens there is that we become absorbed with social media. It is promoting perfectionism. And of course, perfectionism doesn't exist. So the 3 things that I would suggest to be mindful of when scrolling through social media is, first, to realize the posts that you are looking at present an idealized picture. In other words, a picture of a perfect life, which doesn't exist and is unattainable. The second is comparisons. If you start to compare to others, then you go down a little bit of a rabbit hole where you really feel, I am not good enough. And thirdly, what I'd be really mindful of is looking at your body as a whole, looking at your own individual, unique self, rather than hyper-focusing on those perceived defects, which of course are always very subjective. I would say, first of all, be very supportive. Be a positive influence. I think what feeds into negative body image issues is negativity itself. What I would also advocate would be to have a really critical mind in terms of social media, for example. Another really positive thing to do is to challenge those stereotypes, which is very prevalent and of course causes all sorts of confidence issues, acceptance issues among children, adolescents and adults. In terms of what we shouldn't say to someone who is perhaps suffering from negative body image, I think the first thing is that we shouldn't diminish it. I don't think we should say, oh, don't be silly, it's okay, you look absolutely fine. I think what this does is devalues that person's feelings, and really what they need is some kind of affirmation that what they're feeling is real and true to them. I really hope that what I've talked about today has given you a much better understanding of body image. I hope also that if you yourself recognize some of those problems, that you will feel better equipped to deal with that and to seek the right kind of help.